Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And I'm struggling to open an element so I can get some hydration here while we do this show. Anyway, so big week. We'll get into it. But before we get into it, Robbe, do you want to tell anybody about anything special that we're going to be doing later this year?
Yeah, well, Thomas and myself will be heading out to...
I think Carl's going to come too, right?
Yeah, maybe. And probably some other people. Yeah, maybe our main videographer. To the Golden Trail Series powered by Salomon. We'll be at Broken Arrow Sky Race out in Lake Tahoe.
A terrible, awful place to go.
Well, Meg and I...
It's basically a Siberian
We did a
prison
family
camp.
vacation there recently, and we ran just the trails while they were doing the Tahoe. Was it the 100 or 200?
It was like 3 million.
200.
Yeah, the Tahoe 200. And I have to tell you, man, it's going to be challenging, but it's incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole point of this Golden Trail series is sort of to showcase, I think, one, like the beautiful places you can run, but also that trail running is not just ultra running. Because I think like when we hear trail running, at least I think of like the Courtney DeWalters and like the 100-mile races. And like there are races that are 11K and 23K. And
Yeah, you don't always have to run all day on the trails.
Yeah. They even have a kids race, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch in this series. We're going to be talking more about all of these different races that you can participate in. Like the guys mentioned, they will be at Broken Arrow in June, which is in Lake Tahoe. But if you want to learn more and register for any of these races right now, you can go to goldentrailseries.com. Also, you can follow Salomon at Salomon Running.
Do you know that Robbe and I did trails this weekend? We both ran a Super Bowl trail race, and I just blew my mind. Did you know that this did this?
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea. I thought you had to take the whole thing off all the time.
No.
For those who are listening and not watching, Thomas just learned how to use a Yeti.
It's the Yeti Rambler bottle.
Dude,
which
it is the coolest thing ever.
it basically wears a top hat that you can take off, like, screw off. So I don't know why now we're doing ads for Yeti, I guess.
Well, Element sent us this bottle.
Yeah, but which, by the way, I had put in like some collagen into my coffee yesterday, and went to shake it up.
Okay.
And apparently this, like, I had tightened it as hard as I could, both seals, but apparently maybe it was like, you know, when you pinch the seal, sometimes it's not completely. I just shook coffee all over myself. So if I smelled like coffee yesterday, that's why.
Now, and we should talk about this because I think you have a unique. You like flavored coffee.
Okay, I didn't want to talk about this, and I mean, I thought we should, but I know this is a bad take, and I'm not. It's not even a bad take because I admit fully that it's not. I get it.
What do you get?
You're not a real coffee drinker, are you?
Wait, why don't we describe what he's, because nobody knows what we're talking about. When you smell Robbe in the morning, he smells of a hazelnut.
Yeah, it's not me. It's the mug I'm carrying with me that's open.
It's aromatic.
So, for whatever reason, I think because BJ's coffee is just like the normal coffee is pretty average, at least to my taste, which I don't have a real taste.
Do you go to BJ's for coffee?
Yeah.
Like you buy the grounds from BJ's?
Right, because it's just, I don't know.
You use it every day. You got a lot of it. It's
I'm not
cheaper.
someone
I get
who,
it.
I literally, maybe once a year will buy Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts.
Starbucks is the only ground coffee we're allowed to have in the house.
Or
per this guy.
Raise a Hab will send a bag.
Yeah, like I will say if we're on a trip and sometimes people give you a bag of coffee from where they are, that's like my favorite gift. I don't know
really?
why. Yeah.
Take note, people.
Okay. Yeah. Do that for Robbe. I have a cabinet full. You should just come over because I have a
really?
cabinet full of like, because we don't.
Yeah, we have coffee for you.
We don't have a grinder.
Oh yeah, I have one of those little ones. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not a coffee guy. Like
maybe I should do that.
The
tomorrow.
whole drip coffee thing seems crazy to me. Like
That's for people who have way too much time on their hands.
they definitely don't have.
You mean
kids.
like pour over?
Or jobs.
Yeah, that's
Like pour over a French press?
I don't even know what it means. What
So
it's called.
when we were back in the day, I had a group of friends that really got into coffee, and we all had our own French press. And so during the workday, we would kill like an hour just making coffee.
I think this is what happens at boring jobs because when
Yeah.
I was at the Coast Guard, there's a guy there the same way, and he had this it's called an AeroPress.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's the cigarette break for if you don't smoke. It's like, it's going to take me an hour to make this cup of coffee.
So I did buy one of those.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was cool. I did like that. But anyways, so yeah, we buy flavored coffee, and I had a couple friends over like 2 weekends ago, and they were basically just hazing me for it, hazelnutting me for it.
What is Kimmy into it?
Yeah, I don't. But she also puts the hazelnut creamer in the coffee too. It's like a
Whoa.
double
Wow.
whammy.
Wild.
She's practically a squirrel.
I hate the flavored creamers. It's like way too
Oh, me
sweet for
too.
me. And here's the thing: I like coffee black. Like that's totally fine. I usually put in a little bit of milk just to like bring the temp to where I like it. But it's not that I don't like. I love coffee.
You know, we don't talk about that enough. That there is something to adding cream or, milk or whatever you want to your coffee just to get it to the right temperature.
Yeah, and then I have a Yeti mug or a thermos mug that it just like once you get it right to where you want it, boom, you're good for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Where
is your mug, by the way?
It's in your car.
The one that's being worked on.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, they just sent me an email. They're like, "We'll see you in 32 days." I'm like, before they were like 3 to 5 days.
32 days to get your
There's,
car?
there's no way we're driving around in this giant pickup truck for
Yeah.
32
So right
days.
now, I'm driving a Titan, a Nissan Titan, which is a king cab, like monster truck.
Yeah.
And I look ridiculous
It
in
could
it.
not be further from matching Thomas's aesthetic.
Have you driven it?
No,
Meg?
I refuse. It's too big.
It's huge.
I don't think she'd reach the pedals.
Yeah, you need like a telephone book or to see above the steering wheel.
Yeah.
probably.
I dread parking it. I dread pulling it out of my garage is bad. Like it's too big.
Yeah, I don't.
We live in a city.
It's for a city. It's real bad. Yeah.
I don't know why that's the rental that they gave us. Like, how was that the option?
Well, that other option was a Nissan Sentra. So I was like either like micro car or mega car.
Yeah, nothing.
I think
in
they
between.
pulled the Sentra out of the back of this car when they gave it to me.
That's wild. Yeah, but we did the trail race, and I was gonna say my favorite thing too about coffee in when you bring it to the right temperature, put in the mug, is then taking it like with you on a trail run, but keeping it in the car so that when you're done with the trail run on a cold day, just sitting right there for you.
Okay.
so
I haven't
temperature
lit-
stays?
Well, he's putting it in Yeti.
pretty much.
Okay, see, we're using like those reusable Starbucks cups.
Oh yeah, that's
and
like
I go for a
plastic.
dog walk, and like by the end of it,
No.
it's freezing.
I
you
like this
need-
idea that he's talking about.
yeah.
But you got to get it to the temperature you want it first. Because if you put hot coffee in a Yeti, it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't walk
That's
the
why
dog.
I mean,
saying.
if you go for a 2.5, 3 hour trail run, it'll lose some temperature for sure. So you can actually put it a little above the level. It's the whole thing.
The science.
But yeah, it's definitely nice when you're kind of cold after a long trail run.
So we did a trail run this past Sunday. Matter of fact, last week was like one of the highest mileage weeks I've had in a long time. I know you're used to big miles, Meg, but I was kind of tired. And we had this trail race. We went up there, and Robbie, you wanted to make sure that you didn't get busted by marathon investigators.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised someone hasn't reported me yet.
You try and cut the course?
He didn't try.
I
He
did cut the
did
course
it.
Oh.
because I was there.
Because it's very important for him to maintain his trail superiority.
Honestly, it is because there's like probably one person out there who would, I don't know.
Call you out for it?
There's haters of believing the run out there.
They're listening right now.
I'm
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, Thomas is a covert agent.
Yeah.
It was so I took my 7-year-old to do the race, and it's a 7-mile trail race. We did it last year, but like this year he just he's been getting side stitch in a lot of the running stuff. So maybe we need to do a better warm up.
I don't know about that.
He just had it like the whole race, and then kids' shoes, how they're just nowadays don't even have rubber on them; they're just straight EVA. At least I don't know. Maybe you don't know that, but I should have bought him like I don't know, a pair of Merrells or like Solomon's, like with a nice trail outsole, because that route is super rocky and Rudy. So like I think his feet were getting banged.
There was
up.
one section that you might as well be running over a cheese grater.
Yeah.
Like it was just jagged rocks with leaves in between them. So it was like just gnarly.
Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive trail.
We both wore the Norda 001,
Which
I think handles it pretty well, especially since it doesn't have a rock plate.
And
I think the thickness of the
yeah
rubber in the midsole.
And it wasn't muddy, so it was pretty good for that. But anyway, so by mile 4 or 5, he was like, I could tell it just wasn't like.
He was done with it.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like super. I don't know, not complaining, but he was just. I could tell it wasn't like not having a great time. So I was like, all right, we'll just like cut it. There was a loop where I could see people coming back. It was like a 3/4 of a mile, like lollipop type thing.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, we'll just cut it here. And
I think I know where that is. You just started going up a hill, and then the other people would be coming downhill.
Yeah. They got creek crossing. So we did like 6. We ended up with like 6.2, which not bad, but I made sure to tell the RD, I was like, hey, we cut the course. If you want to DNF us, go for it. You know, he's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, it's a $12 trail race. Like, I really don't care.
And do they even, did like the results get posted?
They do, but I don't know. I just like I feel bad if someone finished behind us and they know we went in front of them. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At
least put us last.
I mean, you guys, it wasn't like even cutting, you guys weren't like towards the front of the race.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not like there's any age groups or place, but like
there's some kids out there though. Like I thought like last year, I don't know how it was for Rye, but this year I was surprised at how many, I would say under 10-year-old kids that were out there on the course.
Yeah, I think there's a couple others I saw. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, overall,
it's a fun course. It was 12,000 feet or 1,200 feet of elevation over. It was the whole race was only 6. It was a little short, Robbie. It was like 6.74.
I was gonna say it doesn't sound like you skipped
like
that much.
I wish we would have done it. It was a little short.
Yeah, because I ended up running a mile after the race just to kind of like even out like my week.
Okay.
Which I came up a 1/4 mile short of 60 miles. I was like, that's good enough. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it was it is, I mean, for a trail, I like a 7-mile trail race. That's like a good distance. And there's a lot of people. There's like 350 people.
It was actually, someone was complaining there was too many people for the trails.
I don't think so, because the beginning is the first mile you can spread out pretty.
I thought it was fine.
It doesn't jump straight on a trail. It's like a wide path and then through a field. So you're pretty much can separate.
What's kind of crazy is I didn't normally, I would have a beer or something afterwards. And Kucharski brought like beverages, and he made sure to bring some NA beers and stuff like that. And I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I just did it NA and called it a day.
It was nice, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't like it.
This was Super Bowl Sunday, right? So like later that day.
Later that day, I went. But the one weird thing is, I felt like, and maybe I was just tired, but it feels to me like it's psychologically, I don't know what it is, but drinking the beer, I just wanted to take a nap afterwards.
Maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't know because I didn't get any because everyone else drank them all before I got them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
That was like, Kucharski was like, dude, I'm sorry. He's like, I brought them for you and Johnny. But all these other... I was like, faster bastards needs to get back to its roots, start drinking. This NA stuff is
the heroin.
The smoking cigs after a race. Yeah. Anyways, but... So yeah, what's up? What's going on with you?
I'm training for Boston. I did not do trail race like you guys did.
Why not?
Sticking to the roads.
Next time.
60. I had 16 miles on Sunday, and I can't do that on trails. That would take too long.
There was one lady that was doing like loops.
Yeah. But yeah, training's going fine.
And any like no significant things?
No, I have like no time goals, and so I told Castor, I was like, just get me as fit as possible. I want to have fun in Boston, but I want to be able to run like pretty hard.
You're probably gonna break your PR by like 5 minutes.
I mean, I doubt it, but
So wait, last year you ran Boston. What was your time at Boston?
2:47.
Okay. And what is your current PR?
2:45.
Okay. Would it be reasonable to say that you want to drop down to 240 or
Yeah, but I'm not
sub 240?
I'm just not even in that mindset.
Okay.
I said just get me fit and we'll see what happens.
See, and that's the same thing I said to him. And I don't even know what my goal pace is going to be for the marathon. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's just like, let's just see how you get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting to run this way because it's like you're just running and I'm trying to hit the things that he's putting out there for me as far as paces.
I will say I was very humbled. So he gave me 2 workouts last week, and the mile repeats he gave me were essentially what I was holding for close to marathon pace last winter or in the fall.
Okay.
And I could barely hold them for a mile at a time. And so I was like, wow, okay, you really do lose fitness pretty fast. But I'm hoping it comes back.
I think it also comes back fast.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thomas says no.
No, that's the weirdest thing. The longer I run, the more I realize that it's like not a guarantee on how fast it comes back or how fast it goes away. Like there'll be like right now, I feel really good, but then it just can slide away. Like,
Well, yeah, there's like days, off days. And
dude,
good
when we went
days
to
and-
Boulder last year, I was like, I could barely run.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, that was elevation,
We were on Mars.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. That was horrible.
Yeah.
That's why I never no. I'm good with staying here. in Baltimore.
Are you still following your training on what is it, Training Peaks?
Yeah, it was a little jacked up because of my ankle issues. So which I feel good now, but I couldn't do I had a hill workout last week I was supposed to do. That didn't happen.
Well, that's a good question though, because you ran a trail this past weekend, which should be treacherous for anybody with ankles.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was the smartest thing. I taped them up and then I did slightly roll my other ankle on, and I fell down doing so on Saturday. And I was like real worried about Sunday because I went to run it with my kid, and I just taped it up really good again that day. And
Wait, you ran trails Saturday too? What shoes were you running in?
the Solomon Genesis, which I like, but they're also like a little bit thin on the not
Narrow?
the most stable trail shoe, but also not terrible.
I think they just sent that to me.
Maybe.
It's like black and gray and blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty nice. But yes, I'm like disaster. But anyways, I didn't do all my training as far as that was scheduled, but still did decent mileage last week, all things considered, like over 30 miles, which isn't for having a bum ankle.
Taking days off.
Yeah, 3 days off. So we'll get back at it. We're back at it this week.
That's good.
But so on the trail race, you didn't twist your ankle at all?
No, that was fine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was like run/hiking. It was like a
Still,
mixture of both. It was dangerous. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there was some steep downhills.
Robbe bit it on one of them. Yeah, he fell face forward.
My
of the
only goal
downhills.
on that race was not to twist my ankle and not to fall down.
Yeah,
And so I accomplished and to finish. I did all 3 of those.
yeah.
Did you get out this morning?
No, I'll go after work. There's no way.
It was horrible. Well, I have a double, so there was no not going out.
I mean, I had to walk with my kids a few blocks of school.
Yeah.
And I drove most of the way. And I was like, there's no way. This is the worst weather imaginable. It's 35 and raining.
Feels like 28.
Yeah.
And with wind.
with crazy wind.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. But I mean, I feel good that I got it done. Like it's done for the day.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at the weather and it was like,
This afternoon will be fine.
it's like 48 degrees and sunny this afternoon. I was like, yeah, I'll just,
They closed the schools.
really?
Yeah.
Where?
All the public and private schools.
In the county?
county.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of course they did.
Dude, that's soft. I don't even care what you say.
No, they just close them now. It's like windy, a little rain. Shut it down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is just not going to end well.
It's the way of the world.
Yeah. We're done.
Well, I mean,
we're
it's funny
America's
because
done.
somebody did message us and they're like, what should I do? I have my long run. It's going to be raining. And I'm like, you run. And
What if it's what Ralph? Wait, is that real? Ralphie's. All right. Yeah, make sure you're good, Ralphie.
Yeah.
Situate yourself.
So, yeah. And so I said, I'm like, it could rain on race day. It's
Yeah.
like you just don't, you can't be like, I'm not running today.
Right.
You know. All right, first check-in. Hope you're feeling well. Got your arms swinging. That's always good. If you're running, if you're just standing still, it's kind of weird. So put your arms down. But if you're running, keep them loose. Relax your shoulders. One thing that I've been concentrating on is relaxing those shoulders. It's supposed to make it feel a little less effort when you're cranking out those miles, just relaxing your body and letting it flow. So if you're a little tight and you're holding those shoulders up, now's a good time to take a deep breath. Just let them down.
Man, Super Bowl though.
Did you stay up for it?
I am, and I'm so angry I did because I basically stayed up because I had a chance of winning some money and then didn't.
You were betting on it?
It's like one of the few things I'll actually bet on.
What did you?
You had the 49ers winning?
No, I was just in some prop bet pools with some friends, and then the squares.
What are prop bets?
Just the dumb bets. That's like the length of the national anthem, who gets the ball first, all this stuff,
okay.
and you pick like 20 of them, and then whoever has.
That sounds fun.
It's fun. And then I was in a squares with the neighborhood association, and I had do you know what the squares are?
No.
So it's a grid of 10 by 10 grid, numbers 0 through 9 on the X and Y axis.
Okay.
And then, but you pick before the numbers. So you pick a square before the numbers are assigned because they're randomly assigned.
Okay.
And then, so like, say the X-axis has the Chiefs and the Y-axis has the 49ers. So they shuffle the numbers after everyone picks their squares and then assign them. And then wherever you're at on the grid, so you have a Chief 8, Niners 0.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the first quarter, whatever the score is, if the Chiefs have 8 at the end of their number and the Niners have 0, you get that money, that payout. So it was like $250 for each of the 3 quarters and then $500 for the last quarter or end of game. And I was like so close to winning the end of game one because I had 5 and 2. So if the Chiefs had kicked a field goal and then the 49ers won with a field goal, I would have won $500.
Man.
And then the Chiefs had to score a touchdown. I was like, if Travis Kelce scores this touchdown, which he almost did, and then I know everything's rigged. There's no way. It might still be everything's rigged.
Thomas is totally under the conspiracy
Are you?
theories. Like from the get go, he's like, the Chiefs are going to win because the NFL's paid for it, and that's why Taylor Swift is here and is the whole thing.
I mean, they're really not helping their cause by.
Here's the other thing. Like they did say that this year there's been more complaints about officiating than ever before. Mm-hmm. I'll temper that with the fact that more people are betting now that there's this, you can bet on your phone.
Right.
So I'm going to guess there's more people complaining about calls.
For sure.
You know, if you have money on the line.
It doesn't help that the NFL, though, has a huge stake in all the betting companies.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like
DraftKings and stuff.
Yeah.
and
There's
even,
a lot of.
even the guys before the games, the commentators, they all do their pick. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they all pick the Ravens. Mm-hmm. So I could see everybody betting and putting their money on the Ravens, especially when, you know, they're the insiders and the pros. But we know,
like we had a better, like we were a quote better team.
So then why did the Chiefs win?
They did
because we played like trash that day.
They did have like a horrible. I think they were 9-6 in the regular season.
Yeah,
it's terrible. But the only thing with trust me, I'm a fan of a good conspiracy. But I will say the conspiracies that involve basically thousands of people, like the moon landing or this or 9/11.
Okay, so we're down with the moon landing.
Too many people that need to be involved. Where I'm just like, this is too much.
But see, that's where I think I believe that we landed on the moon. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that we basically took a Volkswagen Bug up there and put it on the planet and came back. I mean, you've been to the Aerospace Museum. You've seen the thing.
Yeah.
It's literally.
You're right. It is a Volkswagen Bug, like the first like Sputnik and
wrapped in tinfoil.
Yeah.
Like we were sending people up in some.
Wow.
Might have to beep that.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing is that there's some conspiracies that I totally like. There's the CIA has done some crazy shit back in the day and now.
Yeah.
But like but there's some that are so widespread. That
By the way, I
involve,
disagree with Robbie that the CIA has done anything crazy. You guys are fine. Leave us alone.
I think they're proud of it. I don't
Okay,
think it's
well, if you're proud of it, be proud of it. But I was not in Robbie's corner for that one.
it's all this is unclassified stuff. But anyways, so I'm just saying, I think like the football one would have to be involve so many people.
Right.
It
There's so many
doesn't
layers.
just refs,
No,
But
you've got.
and they're Illuminati,
Okay.
and they all work for Taylor Swift.
They're like school teachers in their free time. I don't think
That's the good cover, isn't it?
okay.
No, the refs have to go through all of this crazy stuff to become an NFL.
Meg looked up their
Yeah,
salary and everything.
It's crazy.
I
what
guess
they have to go
NFL
through.
ones, yeah.
NFL, they make what?
They make decent salary, but it's the process they have to go through to get
What's
there.
it do?
It's,
It was
like,
six
ludicrous.
figures.
Yeah,
I forget
don't
what you
know.
told me.
200 or something.
Yeah, like
Okay, that's pretty good for 8
you
weeks,
figure
16
you
weeks
got to
of work.
pay them well, otherwise somebody else would pay them. Like if they needed,
That is true.
There's enough money in the NFL that 200 is
and you
not going to cover it.
you can't tell me that those guys don't every once in a while get a like, hey, just
Oh, for sure.
bring that ball back, because you could basically call on any play.
Well, right, because you can bet on every play now. So all you need is them to do one play where they call it back or whatever, and you can call holding on any play basically.
You can.
True.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Anyways,
Okay, what about the commercials? What did you like?
I
Dunking.
honestly can't even remember.
That's literally the only one I liked.
That was the best one.
Yeah.
That was
for
the.
sure.
It was like they were talking about other ones that haven't. We were listening to like a recap.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you see that one, Meg?
Did you know Solomon had one?
That's what I heard, but I didn't see it.
I watched it again and I was like, I don't know.
Okay, how much does it hurt? It's $7 million for 30 seconds. How much does it hurt when people say, I don't remember that, didn't see that?
Well, there was like a Dove commercial of these like girls.
I didn't see that
I don't
one.
remember that one.
I remember the Beyonce one and the Michael Cera one, and
Yeah.
The Michael Cera one I saw before the thing, so I think I would have enjoyed it more if it, like, I don't think they should show you the commercials before
Yeah, right.
the Super Bowl. Like, there's plenty of time after the Super Bowl to show us.
the new Volkswagen van looks pretty.
You like that?
I don't know.
To me, remember when they reintroduced the bug?
Yeah.
And everybody was all excited the bug was coming back. And now,
Yeah,
would you buy a bug?
absolutely not. But my 16-year-old or 18-year-old self would have loved it.
Yeah.
So you know the jumpsuits the guys wore in the Dunkings? They're for sale now.
Oh, really?
Do you think that we should
Those aren't jumpsuits. Those are
poll-
tracksuits, man.
tracksuits. Do you think that we should poll for this week on the podcast whether or not we should get them for TRE 2024?
Oh no, I think we shouldn't get those. We should get our own custom for the running event.
Okay.
But I was thinking that we could do a show in them, and then
Or you're just saying a podcast
Yeah.
in the tracksuits?
in the donkey. Yeah, you make
Okay.
it very hard to be a friend, mate.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, I did like the part where he's like, the how about them apples part.
Yeah. How
but-
about them donuts?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's hard not to love Matt Damon.
yeah. I mean,
Both of them. I love both
Yeah.
of them.
for sure.
And Tom Brady was amazing in it.
Yeah, he kind of made it. to
I
be
kind of like the
honest.
outtakes where it was like, here, throw it to me as hard as you can. Like, zing it in, sing it in.
I hate the I hate the Tom Brady arc of him becoming likable because I don't want to like him.
But now you do, don't you?
Did you watch
Yeah, I
this
don't have a
Did
problem
you
with
watch
him.
the documentary?
I didn't know.
So you would
You
like
would
him
like
if
him,
you
yeah.
watched it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Like
I do
him now.
respect. I feel like once they're out of the sport and you can like look back on what they did and you're like, yeah. I mean, he was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
He was pretty awesome. But I think we edit him to look like he's always winning. And if you look at his business stuff, like he was with Under Armour and then he broke off to do the, his own clothing apparel
T24
stuff.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hit the shitter. It's gone.
Speaking of which, did you guys see Tiger Woods' new apparel?
No, is it good?
Does not look
I don't
great.
know. Is it his own brand?
No,
No.
it's
Like La Tigra.
yeah.
Slazenger? Is that what it is?
Slazenger.
I forget who did it.
It's Sunday Red. Like the logo's really, really bad.
It's like a bad Arc'teryx logo of a
Yeah.
tiger.
It looks like something that you would see on one of those Chinese medications.
I was gonna kind of say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't think it's that bad.
like it's not good.
dude, I don't know.
He went from Nike to this. Like that's not amazing.
What is the brand?
It's
Not Red Sunday, but like
It's tailor-made.
TaylorMade.
TaylorMade.
TaylorMade, yeah.
Which is actually kind of comes back to Solomon because Jean-Luc Diard designed the TaylorMade
the
drivers.
Big Berthas and stuff like that.
Well,
But-
that was Callaway, but yeah.
Oh,
The bubble.
yeah. Do you know what's crazy though?
What?
If you think about it, Red Sunday, like, do you remember a U2 song?
Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, because Tiger always wears red.
I
on
know.
was
Sunday.
gonna
I
say.
know why.
I was just making sure.
But yeah.
But isn't that also kind of weird because it was like his classic Nike red shirt?
That
That's
is-
what
Like when
made-
you picture him, you
Yeah.
picture the Nike
I'm almost
swoosh.
surprised that they don't somehow own that.
I know. I'm
Like,
surprised Nike isn't coming after them for that. They probably will.
They'll find.
Yeah.
They definitely will test the boundary.
Well, here's the weird thing. There's a great statue of Tiger Woods on the Nike campus. Like
Yes,
it's
what happens
incredible.
to
It's-
that?
like I can't imagine they get rid of it.
Was it-
It's amazing. It's right over a field.
yeah.
And I think that Tiger, when they unveiled it, like hit a golf ball all the way. Like they challenged him to hit it over the field, over like one of the buildings. And he was like smoked it
Right.
and clocked it over.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's cool. But yeah, as long as there's no, I don't think there's any arc where Travis Kelce becomes likable to me, though. I think he's dead to me.
What about? Did you see his brother Jason at the after party though, with the mask and the
the
dancing?
luchador.
I didn't see that.
Okay, 'cause-
And I also did like his brother showed up at the Vegas airport dressed as,
I don't hate Jason.
Yeah.
He seems okay.
he was dressed as, what's his name from, the,
From The Hangover.
Yeah.
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 he had like the satchel, the same t-shirt.
Zach Galifianakis,
Yeah.
whatever his character was. But the whole, I keep telling people this because it's the perfect thing. When we were talking about Travis Kelce at the, like in Florida, and saying who he was in high school,
Oh yeah.
he's that guy. Like that's what. So the guy that will come into class 2 minutes late every time, and the teacher's like annoyed because she's just started teaching, and he's like jokes around with her, and is like, "No, it's cool," and then sits in the back and starts like flicking like the kid's ear in front of him and knocks his hat off.
Give me your pencil.
Yeah,
Give me a
Dude,
pencil.
what was the answer? What was it? Give me the answer. And he never gets in trouble because he's like always clowning with the teachers, and he's on the football team, of course. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Like,
You
and
think
that's what.
that's-
Like when you're walking down the
Kelce?
hall, he'd slap your books out of your hands.
Yeah, and then you do. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, dude, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. That's him. That's why he can run into his coach and do that.
And then when you're picking up your hat,
What I thought
your
was
books, he
interesting-
knocks your hat off.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see the like several people asked both Andy Reid and Travis like what happened there? And the coach was like, you know, he knocked, like he was defending him and
Yeah, what's he gonna say?
Even
He
Travis
just
was
won the
like,
Super Bowl.
I was just telling him I loved him.
Yeah, that's what that guy does. That guy in class. That's what he does. Like,
Yeah. You know what's going to be great? When he gets in Taylor Swift's face when she doesn't like put her dishes away or something.
yeah. You mean his dishes away? Yeah. Yeah.
Meg almost spit. That was so good.
You cannot say that.
Yeah. I mean, I want to replace a picture of Taylor Swift with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And be like, this is what married life's going to be like.
Well, that's what a lot of people were saying. Like, if he's committing elderly abuse on the field, imagine what he's doing
In private?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't ruin this for me, guys.
Dude, imagine how scary that would be if you're the person on the other end of that. Like in a house where
It's
nobody,
huge.
like there's no cameras.
Yeah.
All right, Meg, we're going to take a little break for our sponsor here. And it's still winter.
It is still winter and we are still drinking Element.
I like the hot stuff.
Yeah, so they have this whole new chocolate medley. It comes with chocolate mint, chocolate chai, and chocolate raspberry. And you can put them in your coffee. You can make
we
them
just
on their
talked
own.
about Robbe drinking hazelnut coffee.
Yeah.
So, like, I have to say, like, if you want to flavor your coffee, I'd rather put this in it than have hazelnut coffee. And I kind of like the chai one the best.
Yeah, me too, for sure. That's definitely my favorite. So yeah, if you want to try this chocolate medley, you can head over to drinkelement.com/thedrop.
That's spelled LMNT.
Yeah, and they're going to give you this sweet bundle. I think you get something free with it. Definitely like this 8-count sample pack with any purchase. So go ahead and snag some.
Yeah, stay warm.
You're making him seem like a really bad
No,
person.
I'm
I don't
sure-
think he
I
is.
don't
Oh, I hope he is. You know why? That'll make better music.
You better not.
Oh,
You
jeez.
might get a defamation suit if you keep this
Yeah.
up.
Why? What am I saying? I'm just extrapolating
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
on his current behavior.
So I did want to say a quick Taylor Swift update because I told Thomas, but I didn't tell you, Meg.
Oh, no.
On the classroom stuff.
Yeah.
So there's been a little bit of movement in that I told you how the one day the other second grade teacher asked Riley what kind of music you want to hear, and he said Coldplay. And I was like, dude, if you would have said Taylor Swift, I would have lost my mind. But then I guess his actual teacher, he was like, yeah, she played
Here Comes the Sun.
She played the Beatles. Here Comes the Sun on Friday. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I told her my dad loves this song.
Are they still getting stickers or awards or whatever it was for the Eras tour thing?
Yeah, that's
okay.
That
Dude,
hasn't
set in
changed.
stone.
It was already set in motion.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair that you have this platform to talk about this teacher without her coming in. I would like
I'm
to
not
hear
naming
her side of
names.
it. No, I want her to come in and talk about it. And I don't want her to know that you're here and you can sit behind like a one-way mirror or something. And we'd be like, so do you have any parents that really get on your nerves?
I'm sure I'm not. the
Yeah, I
only-
doubt that you're the real problem.
Yeah, I'm sure there's worse
Yeah.
things.
It's me.
I complimented her in all the messages too. I said I seriously appreciate everything you do. I know it's stressful. There's 37 kids in your
But
class.
stop playing Taylor Swift.
Yeah, honestly, she's still with a bunch of little kids. Just let her play the music.
Well, that's I didn't want to make it a big thing. I was just like,
Yeah.
can whatever. Anyways, moving on from that, we don't need to talk about Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce anymore.
Yeah, they got enough time in the.
It will make great music.
I want to say, did you guys take notes for the podcast at all?
No.
Say like what you're doing.
Every
Not
once in
all
a
the
while,
time.
but like not this week.
I was trying to do that this week to make sure I had. Oh, somebody because you're like about trash, finding trash on the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody DM'd me and they were like, "This is the best trash pickup ever," and it was Connor Mance's water bottle from the trials.
Oh,
I was like, "That is a good one." You're not a. That's on. You have one sitting on the shelf.
Yeah,
there.
he didn't use it though.
Oh,
It's
really?
Ilya
I have Mo
Kipchoge?
Mo
Mo
Farah's
Farah's.
from the London Marathon, his final marathon, but I don't think he ran it. Didn't he like drop out or something?
Okay. You don't think that's a cool souvenir?
no, I do.
Okay.
I think that's super cool.
No, it's someone's trash.
No, but it's like
Imagine you just
this guy's
ate.
an Olympian now.
Okay,
No, I want to hear your defense.
All right.
You deserve to be heard.
Robbie drinking out of a cup, throws it down. Somebody's like, "Look, I've got
There's
Robbie.
people out there that definitely want that.
Robbie from Believe the Run's cup."
Mostly federal investigators trying
Yeah.
to pin me down on
Mostly
some
those.
crimes.
Also, some fans.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a little bit different. This is a game. It's like a game used jersey. Like,
Right.
would you have a game used?
You mean
yeah.
if he gave me his singlet?
or what if
Lamar Jackson's sweaty jersey comes off. You're not going to
Boom.
take that?
That's what I'm saying. Singlet? Like I got Connor Mance's singlet.
what about Lamar Jackson's Gatorade bottle that
No,
he was
don't
drinking
want
out
it.
of right before he threw the game-winning touchdown?
No.
and
Cool.
it has his.
I
name.
want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, no, I'm good. With it.
Dude, you could clone him.
You could. Then what am I gonna do? Play ball with him?
I guess you just have a pet, but I don't know how that works. Actually, I don't know what the
And
rules
I
are.
think that you overestimate my cloning abilities.
Yeah, that's
Like,
why it would be
I-
a pet.
I don't really have a lab or anything.
Yeah, if I
I know
come
we
out.
are close to Hopkins.
Oh yeah,
Do you think there's somebody in the basement at Hopkins that's like been cloned?
Yeah, there's
or
stuff
some sheep walking around.
there's definitely stuff going on there?
Yeah, that I wonder if there's CIA in Hopkins.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised with the proximity and all the research we got.
You think we have any alien bodies there?
Well, I mean, the CIA did tons of LSD tests in the '60s. The MK Ultra
I saw
program.
a comedian came up in my reels, and he's like, yeah, all my friends are asking me how I lost weight, and he's like, I I started running, and they're like, "Oh, that's so boring." He goes, "Not on mushrooms." He goes, "I've been doing 100-milers. I'm never alone." He goes, "I'm out in the woods. There's dragons. There's people running around."
But you can hallucinate without the mushrooms in a 100-miler.
Yeah.
I don't know that would be fun, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll have to attempt that.
But Hopkins has the psilocybin research center, and it's right over in Bayview where we live. So I feel like totally the CIA or somebody would be using that data. Psilocybin, yeah, depending which path you take. But yeah, so because in the 60s they did, began in 1953 and halted in 1973. CIA used high doses of psychoactive drugs, especially LSD and other chemicals, without subjects' consent to test it out.
So if you were going to clone someone, would you rather clone somebody that starts as an embryo and grows into a human clone? Or would you like I want another Robbe. I'm going to make an adult Robbe.
Well, I definitely don't want to raise them from birth. First 5 years, skip that part.
I doubt they'd let you have either one. But I'm saying if you were the doctor making, would you rather make clone babies that grow, or be able to make you pull out of a jelly sack a 40-year-old Robbe?
Yeah, that sounds so gross.
So gross.
And I don't have to raise the person, or they're just
No, the lab, the government, they've got, this is their Robbe.
Okay. I feel like I don't. Yeah, the older person, because I don't like the whole
What if
government controlling the child from birth thing. That's weird.
What if you didn't like it? What if you're that's your clone and you're like, I hate that dude.
Now we're getting into some ethical questions. That's like me looking at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Literally.
Except for this, it would be another organic creature. I mean, if you think about it, you are at some point going to be able to clone
I hate
yourself
talking
to
about
a
this.
certain degree
No.
in virtual reality.
Yeah, we're talking about matters of ethics here, which get a little messy.
Unless you don't have ethics.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's tough.
All right, second check-in. You've relaxed those shoulders. You should be running smooth at this point. Let's take a look at that breath. Make sure you're getting nice and easy breathing going. If you're breathing too hard, maybe just ease back a little bit, unless you're trying to do speed intervals. But if you're trying to do speed intervals, you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast, because this will distract you. You need something more up-tempo and a little more exciting than our voices. So switch that up if you're doing speed work and you're listening to this right now. Turn off the podcast.
I will say, this isn't really related to cloning, but I was looking at my other notes, and I've had a lot of luck recently with plugging in my USB the right way.
So you're still on the other USB?
For my phone charger, yeah.
Okay.
So
that's the standard USB.
I just felt this was notable because I feel like the last 6 times I've plugged it in, it's been correct the first time.
What do you mean correct?
So you know how you can only go in, if it's the right side up?
Yeah. But you know how it's whenever you put a USB in
Meg's
charger,
on USB-C now.
But
Yeah, we're full USB-C over
think
here.
back to 2012.
In
It's time
the
travel.
year 2000.
Yeah. Whenever you plug in the USB, it's always the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well, 50-50.
but it seems like it trends always the wrong way.
I feel like I always got it the right way because I don't even remember this happening.
Really?
Yeah.
If you look on Reddit, there's some other places. There's long discussions of why it's always the wrong way.
So you are now doing it the right way.
Yeah, I've been on a hot streak of doing it the right way.
Could
and
you
I felt
put
like it was
an
notable
indicator,
to talk about.
and why do they not put an indicator?
Yeah, the top
That's
side.
a good
Which
question.
side's
That's
up?
an excellent question, and I don't know why.
I mean, most other things have an indicator. You know what I feel lucky about? When you go to the plug, and you know how you have a fat side of the plug and a skinny side of the plug?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
When I hit that right,
Oh yeah.
it's very satisfying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the one side of the plug is slightly,
Should I unplug the board?
yeah, there we go. It's over.
You mean you're talking about a normal plug?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the fat piece and the skinny piece. So you have to plug it in the right way, unless it's a plug from 1953 or something.
Yeah.
When it's because I think it grounds it in some
I
way.
guess I don't pay enough attention to plugs.
Oh man. Vision.
Just living that life of first shot.
Seriously, do you have servants plugging things in for you?
Her clone.
My clone's
I'm
doing
like,
that.
Her clone is
literally,
like, damn it.
I'm Googling plug visual, which could go
Plug
poorly.
1, plug 2.
And it's not.
I guess I just don't struggle with plugging things in as often as you guys do.
I think, yeah.
Maybe my visual cues are so good
Okay,
that I
look.
get it right every time.
This is see like there's the
Right now, Robbe is
bulbous
showing
end.
a Google search.
I don't even think I knew that there was a difference.
There's
I
no
think
way.
I've just been plugging it in.
There's no way you've been that lucky in life that you've been plugging things in correctly.
Maybe
your
I
whole
just
life.
I just flip it over without even
I have
a
to
second
say-
care in the world.
Megan is pretty lucky. Parking spots open up for her.
She's married to you.
That happened.
Yeah, I read that book, The Secret, dude. My life is so easy day.
If reading The Secret will get me to plug things in correctly every time, I'm in.
Well, you have to read The Secret paired with, what's the other book where the guy goes on the journey in the desert?
The other book that they needed to make more money from, so they just made that
No,
one.
I think it's a
The
different
Secret
book.
sequel.
No, it's what's the other one? It's the kid goes into the desert. He wants the Alchemist.
Oh, yeah.
Did you read that one?
I haven't, no.
All right. That one, I felt a little foolish.
There is a sequel to The Secret.
I know there is. Yeah,
What's it
wasn't
called?
a joke.
Super Secret?
The Power,
When that one come out.
2010.
I have to tell you, you can mock people who love The Secret and all that stuff, but it's the same thing as like mocking people who have a religion. If
Yeah.
they're getting by and they're having a better life because they think that works,
Yeah.
then they're having a better
I mean,
life.
there is something to it in the way that if you are hyper focused on whatever your thing is, like things do gravitate towards you because you're just focused on that.
Where the mind flows, the energy goes.
Yeah. So
Or
like
something like that.
It's the same way as if you when you get a new car and it's
We were just talking about Teslas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Everybody
see it all
thinks that
everywhere.
Teslas are, and I see them everywhere.
yeah.
And I don't have a Tesla, but like I literally see Teslas everywhere, and I know that they're supposed to be like a status symbol.
Mm-hmm.
But like
I don't think they are anymore.
people
I don't either.
like Ubers roll up and
Yeah.
they're Tesla.
Well, they keep slashing prices on them, and so it's like
Is that
at
what
this
it is?
point, yeah, and you get like I think the credit's still intact for buying one, so it's like you can bring it down to a pretty reasonable.
So
price.
living though on a coast
Mm-hmm.
where hurricanes and that kind of stuff happen,
Mm-hmm.
would you get an all electric vehicle?
I mean, because you can drive through water.
No, not because you can drive through water, but because like if you have to evacuate or something, you have a limited mile range, and then you'd have to sit there and charge. And that's if you could find an open charger, because everybody who's evacuating would be like, I need to charge my car.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, I don't think so. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people are getting. I think Toyota did a really nice job of going in on the hybrids because it's like that bridge between.
That's
things.
what I'm thinking. I'm like, I used to think they were being lazy, but now I'm kind of like, maybe they're not, and maybe that until the infrastructure gets better,
Right.
Like if there was, like the thing that made me think of it is Florida had to evacuate, and they were showing all these cars that were just stuck
Yeah.
because they ran out of. And if you got under a certain, and Chicago had a real cold freeze,
Exactly.
and the batteries were draining on the cars so fast that people were just stuck.
Well, apparently the Chicago thing was like if you weren't prepared for it and you hadn't charged, then you were going to be screwed. Yes, the batteries perform less in cold, but
they have
also
to
people
pick-
were just like who live in apartment buildings who don't have chargers. They were just like, oh yeah, it's 25% left on my battery. I'll charge it tomorrow when it's -10 degrees. And then it was crazy.
Yeah, and then you can't charge it, and
Right.
they had to come pick them up with tow trucks.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think in extreme circumstances, definitely not a great option. But I do like how they can they can just drive through water and nothing happens because you can't flood the engine.
You can't, wouldn't the batteries and the electrical
And I
system?
see, you'll see it in.
And there's no exhaust, so they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they won't.
Yeah, but that's
suffocate.
going to create more people doing dumb things like driving over
Megan,
water.
that's correct.
I'm sure there's a limit to it, like for sure. But if it's not this, like if a car would stall out in a situation where a Tesla could drive through.
Anyway, enough about cars. Should we talk about the shoe?
We can.
Is it time?
I think so.
Okay.
It could be time.
Oh, it's a little early. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, I did want to say real quick. We never recapped Grit
Oh,
last week because of the trials. So
we should
kind of do that.
We should
a little bit.
recap it. How many miles did you end up with?
Because I had to take a week off, I ended up with like around 150. So it wasn't terrible.
Megan, you probably crushed 300 something, right?
I think so. I'm looking it up right now.
I forgot to enter in my last day, but I think I was 244 or something like that for January.
Okay.
Which was fun because I really have to say, I would have on my own probably not done it as smart.
Mm-hmm.
But Castor, my coach, he really slowly built up week after week and increased the mileage in a responsible way. Mm-hmm. So I felt great the whole time and just did my normal training. And it was the first time I've done Grit where I was actually doing speed work during the training. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I upped the mileage as much as I did and then was okay, I think that he almost gave me like a roadmap for every other, if I do it, like for summer or something like that.
Yeah, no, that was pretty awesome. And we had some good, it wasn't the most mileage we've ever seen in Grit or Elevation, but still obviously the men's winner had 654 miles.
Nuts.
Spencer Imbach, congratulations.
And who was the guy who came to the party that his father
Nick.
met? Nick.
Yeah.
Nick killed it. He was like second, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think, was he
was
second?
second.
Okay. And then women's winner was Christina, I'm going to mess this up, Shelterup from, she's in California. She ran 446 miles. Very excellent. And then elevation winner was Ryan Kelly in Arkansas. He finished at just under 60,000 feet.
Jeez.
And then Jana.
Again, can you give me the elevation of Mount Everest?
It's like 20,000, isn't it?
Wait, I think I actually got that wrong. Ryan Kelly was not the winner.
You are not the father.
Yeah. Did you send that out?
I sent out whatever Helen told me.
I think she changed it.
Oh.
So he was like in second. The first place winner was someone, what's his name? He's in Run Club.
Oh, yeah.
For elevation?
The Italian dude. I think he's Italian.
Aunt Andrea or something?
Yeah. Andrea. Anyways, he had like 61,000 feet.
Okay, so Mount Everest.
Did I say the women's elevation winner?
You did not.
Yeah,
Jana
you did.
Friedrichova from Hagerstown, 61,000.
Oh, wow. That's right there, both of them.
Yeah, and both. And so I was wondering how he did it because he runs along the harbor a lot. And I was like, dude, how'd you get 60,000 feet just around here? He was doing repeats of Fed Hill sometimes, like 6 miles on Fed Hill. Just
that's
repeats
crazy.
Up and down. Yeah.
That is when I did
Andrea
Trans Rock.
Rosa.
Yeah.
When I did Trans Rockies, I did the going up those steps and circling around, run back down, go up those steps. Because I mean, basically, for the first part of every day, you're just hiking uphill, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. So crushed it. So congratulations to everyone. And I did think it was I know we say it's the best Grit yet, but I did think it was.
It was great.
What do you think was what made this one?
I feel like people were just like super involved in the Facebook group, came out to the Grit party. Just
the community aspect.
the community aspect, and then the weather was, you had both extremes. You had nice and mild, a couple weeks that were mild, and then you had the snow, cold, at least here where we are. So I thought it was a good all around
I agree.
winter Grit.
And the swag was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought I enjoyed, the space theme. I don't know, like
Yeah,
like
that's
wearing a helmet.
Yeah,
Nerd.
yeah.
But it was good.
No, it was definitely good.
So we are going to have a summer Grit. And I already know
Yeah.
what the swag is going to be because I've talked to A6.
And we already know what the theme's going to be, kind of.
Do we? I forgot.
I can't say it now.
Yeah, don't say it now. You got to remind me because I forgot.
But yeah, that'll be, registration will open for that Memorial Day at 9 a.m. Eastern.
It'll be here before
Yeah,
you know it.
like-
It's so insane how fast it goes. Like when we first did these, it felt like we had a little bit of time in between. I feel like we finally get the last package out, and then we're like, all right,
For sure.
let's start going. All right, final check-in. You're still here, so I guess you're not doing speed work. Hopefully everything's going well, and just cruise this one out. finish up strong. Swing those arms, relax those shoulders, take the nice breaths, and cruise on in. We'll see you next week.
And then I did want to talk about real quick the one cheater from. There's been a couple. I put it in the email last week. There's this Kenyan runner who got busted because he had the body double.
Oh yeah,
dude. That's a good job.
That's
amazing.
Well, you got to explain what he was doing.
Okay, so I read like the whole court or whatever case they had for World Athletics, and it's amazing.
I believe you.
I forget his name. Hold on, I need to look up his name.
So he was getting drug tested
and didn't want to be.
Michael Saruni of Kenya. So he was getting drug tested, as everyone does, at the 2022 Kenyan trials for the World Championships.
Okay.
And apparently he showed up with kind of an entourage or a few people with him. And then they're like, okay, we need you to go to the bathroom to give a piss test.
Yeah.
And he went in the bathroom, and
they're always escorted, and there's someone with them at all times.
So they escort him basically to the bathroom door. Mm-hmm. And then when he comes out wearing the same clothes and everything that he had on, it's not him. It's like another dude. And they're like, you're not like.
So where did he go? Was this like a magic trick?
So then they walk back in the bathroom and open the stall door that he had originally gone in, and I guess he was like standing on the toilet, maybe, like that's how, because I think when they escorted him in there wasn't anyone in there, so maybe his friend was standing on the toilet, and then when they like turned around or walked out, like they did a switcheroo flopped. And so when they walked back in, they opened the stall door, they said they observed a man with a hoodie on. And
okay, but here's my question. Mm-hmm. Why didn't he just walk back out?
So, because they were standing right outside the door.
But I'm saying, if I had a friend in there already,
I'm
going to use his urine or whatever. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for the urine. I'm going to walk out with it now.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just do that? Why would you have him walk out with your clothes on?
He's probably doping too. Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure.
Like they overthought this so much that they effed it up.
So then he walked out with his like hood over his face, I guess, so they couldn't see him. And as soon as they got out the door, he bolted for a retaining wall around the perimeter of the complex, and then scaled the wall and ran off. So both of the guys did. They caught one of the guys. Police
like that. I'm sorry. If I'm a guy who's collecting urine and I see you bolt out, jump over the wall, I'm gonna be like, I don't even need to test this.
Yeah. The best part is that they did catch one or two of the other guys involved with this whole scheme, like the police did, but not Saruni, the actual athlete. And he was like, it says he was baffled that they would accuse him of such a thing, and that he was like, I never even showed up to the race that day. So he's claiming that he just never came to the event, and it's a whole mistaken identity thing.
See, this is what's so confusing to me, because
and he was banned for 4 years.
Like when you catch somebody and in your face, they're like, no. And you're like, yeah, I got you. I know.
Right.
And they're like, no.
But isn't that such like, anytime you hear a cheating story or marathon investigation or something else, it's always like in the face of all evidence, they just keep doubling down.
That's what I don't understand, because there has to be a point where in your logic, in your head, you got to say, okay, look, I'm clearly caught. I'm a runner's world.
I think these people are so in their heads. First of all, to go ahead and do that is you have to have something off. And then on top of it, I think they've probably honestly convinced themselves that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's the only explanation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's narcissism or what it is, but
I don't think it can be. It's got to be. It's delusional. Like
right.
To the fact that you brought up in the last week's email, you brought up the Runner's World UK editor that clearly cut the course, knew she cut the course,
Made a fake map.
manipulated her digital footprint,
Yeah.
or tried to, didn't do a good job of it.
Horrible job of it.
All these things, says, I'm not a cheater. Yes, I did the stuff. She said her watch wasn't working. You can see it's working. In her finished photo, she folded over her bib. Like all these things that were clearly intentional.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that she both doubled down and admitted to cheating, because she said she did go to the bathroom and may have jumped on a different part in the course, which you just admitted it. And then just saying she didn't know. And I'm like, now you're doing both. You're coming out from both ends. You're saying you did,
I
and
may
then doubling
have,
down.
but I don't know that I did.
Right. And it's like the strangest thing just to stand by it. Because I was talking about this to Matt when we were trail running. I was like, when you talk about baseball and doping, no one ever talks about Andy Pettitte, who was one of the great pitchers of that time and was doping. Because when he got caught, he admitted right afterwards. He was like, yeah, I did, and apologized profusely to his friends and his family and his fans. And nobody talks about him. But everyone still talks about Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, because they never, or Rafael Palmeiro, because they all
it's
lied
kinda
about it.
It's kind of like when we were younger and people weren't as friendly to alternative lifestyles. So people kind of had to be in the closet or whatever if you're an entertainer or a musician. So people would all be like, that's weird that Elton John seems very flamboyant. Do you think that maybe he's not straight? And because he couldn't just, at that time, just be out and whatever, it creates more drama around it. And I feel like if someone's cheating or doping, like once they got a hold of Lance Armstrong, it's like, come on, you're doping.
Dude.
And he's like, no, I'm not doping. And the more he did it, the more it makes people want to
Find out.
dig in.
Yeah.
And it's like if he had just been like, look, everybody does it. Yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. I also raised millions of dollars.
And even what's crazy is too with the Runner's World editor thing is that she even said, I put this manipulated map up because she admitted to feeling like an inferiority complex or whatever, or like she felt like she had to hold up to a standard. So she admitted that, and it's like, just say that and then say you cheated, like both of those things, and people will be like, I get it, like I understand why you feel that way, why you might have done this.
I still think people would be angry though,
but not as angry if you keep doubling down on it.
Well, no, now the difference is it's kind of like Salazar, where it's like he kept saying I'm not, to the point where people are like, you got to be out of the sport.
No, but see, that's a perfect example of, I truly believe that he feels like he was staying within the framework of not, like he was going to the edge without, in his opinion, going over the line.
Yeah.
I do think that he was trying to get as close to the fire as he could without getting burned. But he also did some other weird stuff.
He did. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying psychologically, I feel like that's where he was, where he's not going to say he did anything wrong because he truly doesn't believe he did.
Well, and if you look at it, maybe it's also perspective. Like I would think that Salazar saying, look, the reason why American distance running is behind is because everybody else is doping. So if we're going to compete on the world stage, we need to at least be as close to the edge of doping as you possibly can get.
Yeah.
In certain way, I can understand him saying that and being like, look, we're not going to win. We're not going to have great running if we don't.
Yeah, and I will say, there's no way that for years people didn't, like, people knew. People had to know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until everything came crashing down with all that everything else involved that they're like, oh, let's fire him, distance ourselves from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I mean, we were talking.
It wasn't just him. There's tons of people complicit in it.
We were talking to an athlete at trials who believes that it's just as rampant in the U.S. sport as anywhere else. Now, here's the other thing. We watched the games at the Armory.
And
the
Milrose game.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Every week I feel like someone's breaking a new world record.
It is crazy. I don't even know. I'm like, is there just way more events than I know exist? Because every time I look at Sidious Mag, there's a new world record being broken.
Well, so we had the Milrose games on. It was just on the TV. I'm like also like doing other stuff, and I just happened to watch over because Josh Kerr was doing the 2 mile, and I was like, oh, we've talked to him. It'd be fun to watch. And I'm like looking at his time, and I'm looking at the world record time, and I'm like, he's about to break a world record. Like I just happened to be watching this, and he did, and I'm just like, what?
And did it like convincingly. Like it was. Like he looks amazing. Like it was super strong. And you're like, okay, shoes are going to get us to a certain point. Maybe athletes are a little more healthy, nutrition wise than they used to be. But I just don't understand. And I'm not accusing Josh Kerr of doping at all. But I just don't understand how, like you said, every week Sidious Mag's throwing up a new thing on Instagram. World record just broken.
I think it is a little bit too like that thing where there's American record, world record, indoor, outdoor.
Right.
Yeah, but it used to
45 different
I feel
distances.
like it used to stand for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like when Radcliffe won London Marathon or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, what was the time? It was like 2:20.
No, 17.
Are you sure it was that low?
Yeah.
Anyway, it felt like it stood for 10 years or 14 years.
Well, also I think there's this whole thing where there's like the before Super Shoes world records, and now it's just basically gapped up. So now you have the Super Shoes world records, and then everybody's shaving time off those.
But say that
like there's the initial one, and now
Super
you're just
Shoe is
saving.
like 4%.
Yeah.
Okay. The records that would be broken are a lot greater than 4%.
So we just talked to Joshua Rowe, who's the performance scientist at Morton.
Okay.
And he was talking to us about the Super Shoes versus nutrition and like the hydrogel that they created. And to his point, he's saying if you can get in the amount of carbs and nutrition that they're doing right now, that's an 8 to 12% increase.
What?
Versus a shoe, which is 4 to 6, maybe.
Wait, what do you mean?
He's saying if you are properly
Fueling.
getting enough carbs and stuff like that, they've scientifically proven that you can improve your performance by 8 to 10%.
What's the baseline? Do you know?
No.
Like, is it just like Gatorade? Like what? That's what I'm wondering. Like what's
here's the
over what?
It probably is something like goo or something like that doesn't have the hydrogel.
So
because
they're
that's
saying
what's allowing you to get.
I think
more
it's
carbs
partially
in.
the hydrogel. Well, yeah, that's what it is. It's being able to actually tolerate. I think it's 120 carbs per hour,
Okay.
which is
How many-
substantially higher than we used to
How
ever
many
think was
Mortons
possible.
how many Mortons is that? 120.
A gel packet is
60.
So every half hour.
50.
Oh, so wow. So at least every half hour.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at it this way, so what the whole thing behind the Morton thing is, the carbs are
Sorry, they're
encapsulated.
25.
Are you sure?
I think they might be 25.
The carbs are encapsulated in the gel. And the gel allows it to go past your stomach into your intestines and then be absorbed there, where you're not going to get nauseous. So if you just tried to put the carbs in your stomach before the hydrogel,
Right. I know. It's
Yeah.
100 because it's
No, it's
100
100
calories. you want carbs.
It's 25 grams of carbs.
oh, and how many carbs does he say per hour?
You can
120.
they're that's what like Kipchoge can get down. Like I could never.
But think about
do
he's
that.
doing the bottles. So
Yeah.
he's drinking like the 320. So if he's doing half a bottle,
Whoa.
that's
He's also torching like insane carbs because he's running a 4-minute mile for 26 miles.
True. Are you gonna talk about that on
Yeah.
after that
They did
episode
the-
comes out?
Yeah.
well, yeah.
We'll that podcast will air in the next couple weeks on Fuel for the Soul. But yeah.
Man, that's
So there are a lot of different contributing factors to why things are speeding up. But I do think it's interesting. We love shoes, so we put a lot of weight on like how the shoe feels and how you're going to feel when you're running. But between sleep, weightlifting, and nutrition, like you can, 10, 20%.
Well, and it's the recovery component from all of those things that allows you to train harder and then get faster. And it's like I think it's like just the perfect storm.
wow.
I don't know.
Man. By the way, for the Fuel for the Soul podcast, can I submit a listener question right now?
Yeah.
Do it.
Is it about ankles?
No, I'm done with that.
Okay.
We don't need to talk
Let me
about
get
that.
out my Google sheet here.
It's
Arnica gel.
I'm wondering, and I don't think you've talked about this, but if I drink an NA beer like an IPA before a race or leading up to a race, is that liquid carbs just as good as eating whatever, a bagel? It's 20. So some of the IPAs have 21 to 25 grams of carbs.
I can tell you what Feathers will tell you. Carbs are carbs. The problem with drinking your carbs is you don't get satiated. So where a bagel is going to sit in your stomach and you're going to feel full.
You know, I want to eat 55 bagels the day before a race.
Well, you can
don't
take
have to
liquid
eat
carbs.
55.
You can take, like, that's why she'll do like scratch and all that kind of stuff.
She eats
And
like 6 bagels the day
and-
before a race, though, doesn't she?
I think
She
it's
likes
closer to
bagels.
eight.
That's nuts.
It's close to 8. I'll ask on the
Okay.
podcast, but I feel like an NA beer could almost replace, like, if I was going to drink a Gatorade for my liquid carbs.
Yeah.
It might be essentially the
Do
same
you like
thing.
the beer that much? Like the taste and stuff?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Do you not feel bloaty when you drink one of those?
One of them,
I'm saying, like, when I drink a beer, I feel bloaty.
I might just feel bloaty all the time. I think I'm living that high carb life. I think it's my baseline. No, I think I have to drink more than one. If I have, like, I feel like I'd have to have a
So you would
few.
prefer the taste of a non-alcohol IPA over maybe something like a smoothie or something?
Not necessarily, but I'm saying it's just part of the equation, kind of. Like I want to have 6 IPAs the day before a race, same as I don't want to eat 6 bagels. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying as part of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
I have a feeling it's probably fine. But
Yeah, because like fruit smoothies are carbs.
Yeah,
So like one of the things she would recommend if you don't want to eat bagels, get a smoothie because it won't feel as filling. But that's
yeah.
isn't that correct?
yeah, but I mean, the day before a race, you also you want your fiber consumption to go down. So maybe not the best option.
Yeah, because an NA beer is basically just straight carbs, right?
You know better than me, but it sounds like it.
Yeah.
I'll ask. We'll confirm.
I think you should, maybe you should do a episode on that, because I feel like Thomas was saying, when we were at the trail run, it's trending huge right now.
Yeah, we talked about alcohol in the last podcast, and we're getting annihilated for it. So
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
You should kind of flip
Yeah.
the script a little bit.
Uh-huh.
on that.
It is interesting because, so last week I didn't drink at all until, I guess on
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, on Friday I had one cocktail, and I have to admit, I did feel better throughout the week, and I haven't been drinking so far this week. I do feel better, but at the same time, I don't know that it's the evil.
We don't need to get into it. We already got. Let's not go down that. Okay, let's talk about the shoe.
People are, depending on people's personal experiences, it varies.
It is.
wildly.
I feel like
It's very personal.
I was telling Megan, I said, there's
Sorry.
like talking about veganism, talking about alcohol, talking about politics, and
Yeah.
talking about religion. They're all in the same.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
because
little
I think
bucket.
they're, especially alcohol, it pretty much, it touches everyone's lives because it's so infused in our society. So it's like, depending which path you or someone you love goes down, then that's how you're gonna, that's your worldview
Yeah.
of it. So it's like, just is how it is.
Which not everybody is going to agree on ons.
Yeah.
What a segue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of speaking of personal opinions that are strong.
Controversial.
It is. I think when we got the Monster, the original one, it was the first time that we weren't like overpowered by the speed board being close to the foot, creating a very rigid feel on the shoe. So we were really enthusiastic about the shoe. And I still think it's a good shoe. I've put the original one on like recently and running it. We now have the Monster 2 from On.
Cloudmonster too, technically.
Yeah, and I'm a little more critical of this than I was of the first one because I liked the first one, opened the door to liking some other On products, but now I'm kind of like, I don't know. So I'm going to let Megan go first because we both ran it this morning. We've run in it previous. Megan, you've got tons of miles on yours. What's your thought on this shoe?
Well, for starters, the original Monster is the only shoe that I've ever been sent to review that somehow disappeared from the office. So I
She feels like someone
never-
stole it.
we just don't know what happened to it.
That's
I
weird.
I can't compare it to the first one, but I will say I have been enjoying the miles in it. Like, it's hard for me to explain. There's nothing really crazy or exciting about the shoe. It just feels nice. It's a little bit firmer, so I actually have the On Cloud Eclipse on my feet right now because I wanted to compare that. And just by the step-in feel, the On Cloud Eclipse is quite a bit softer than the Monster. But I don't hate the stiffness of this, like the firmness of this shoe. Like, I just feel like it's nice.
Is it like a Boston like feeling?
Yeah, it's closer to Boston, 12.
Okay.
So yeah, it does feel like there's a little bit more sensation underneath the palm of the foot. And I noticed there's like a different density foam up towards the front.
Yeah.
I think to give it more of maybe a little more aggressive feel off the toe than the previous model. Other than that, it feels very similar underfoot to the previous model. What I was really hoping for our one knock, what was our knock on the original Robbe?
The upper was like it was just no structure and it was kind of baggy on the upper.
Yeah, well, we're back to it. Now, the reason why I wanted Meg to say something is because you have a wider foot.
Yeah, so I love that there's a ton of room in the toe box, and just in general, it feels like a pretty wide platform. I will say I do think it runs a half size long, which I would prefer than it being too short. So it's like not an issue. But I do have to cinch down the laces quite a bit, even with my wider foot, to the fact where I'm someone who, Thomas hates this. I will just slip my shoes off with them still tied. And you can't actually do that with this shoe. Like, you have to untie it.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's okay. Ralph's doing tricks back here. That's the problem is with I would say I have a narrow to average foot shape.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing is way too roomy. And I was like really hoping, because we complained about the upper, I thought, okay, they're going to fix the upper. If they fix the upper, I like the midsole. It's going to be fine. And I would agree with Megan. It's a half size too big. Robbie, you got a pair, and it was
It might have been a whole size too big. It was definitely the biggest I've ever gotten in.
And it was your size.
Yeah, although for some reason
allegedly.
I'm now gone down a half size in most brands sometime during the pandemic. I still wear my size in Nike that I've worn my whole life.
Interesting.
But yeah, so it was for sure unrunnable for me. So I have another pair coming. But I love the look of them.
Yeah.
I think they're becoming kind of an icon.
But that's crazy. The look of them, On's been a lifestyle shoe.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying so that it maintains that On look that people like.
Yeah.
I think I have to admit, I feel like that's part of it. It's like, it looks good, so I'm putting it on.
Yeah, May got a like an off-white, like almost like putty color.
Yeah.
That I knew she was gonna love as soon as we opened it. My color's okay. I like it. Just fine. But yeah, for me to cinch it up, I couldn't cinch this enough. Again, running it this morning, it was raining and kind of snowing out. And like my foot just has so much wiggle room in it.
Yeah.
Even though I went and I wrenched them down as tight as I could, it just doesn't have any kind of like.
But if you went a half size down, do you think it would matter?
I do think it would be better.
Yeah.
Because even in the heel collar and heel counter, I had like room.
Okay.
And I had to.
So,
I did wear a thinner sock today just because it was raining and snowing, and I didn't want to have like a big, thick, wet sock in the shoe. But I have also running it in a thicker sock, and it's just too wide. Like this to me, this is like Jarrett or any of our wide foot reviewers.
Yeah.
Could easily run in a shoe.
He got the shoe, but I think he got it in wide.
See, I think he could run in a standard.
Right.
Yeah, for real.
Like, I don't understand how you'd make this any wider.
Apparently they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I am spoiled, though, with all the great foams that we're getting in.
Yeah.
That when I run in a shoe that doesn't have, like, a tremendous amount of energy return and bounce, that I'm like, this is just okay. And this shoe it does have a nice cushioning with the way that they've done the Cloud Tech but it's not like you don't feel like you're flying in this one when you run. I actually do like the Eclipse better than this.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my afternoon run in the Eclipse, so TBD. But I just from the step in feel, I think probably the Eclipse wins.
And I don't think the upper on the Eclipse is perfect, but I prefer the upper on that, the fit of that over this. And I
definitely has more structure to it than this one.
And I like that the underfoot feel is a little bit softer with that. They call it a speed board on the bottom, but that like
I do
really
think
just a shank in the middle.
yeah.
I do think the running in super foams is a little bit detrimental because I ran again in the E6 Gel Cumulus 26 last night, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Like that's what it's a running shoe.
Yeah. If Rye was in high school and you need to get him a daily trainer and you didn't want to break the bank.
Still 140 though, which is crazy. It's still the same price as the Nova Blast.
Yeah. I don't know why I would go that over the Nova Blast. Yeah. Nova Blast I really enjoy running in.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. I just don't understand the Ralphie.
This is a good spot, bud.
Ralphie is just
how much
chilling.
is the Monster too? Is it 180?
I think it's I forget. Might be 170. Let me see. 170 175 170.
Does that sheet have the
it's right in that range.
Does the sheet have the weight on it? Because mine are wet.
I don't actually have the sheet. That's what I was doing right now. I was just emailing and asking for it. It's I don't know. Some places I'm seeing it for 180, and then other places I'm seeing it as it's 180. I think.
Yeah. So 180 puts this in that super trainer, not super shoe, but super trainer category. So this has to go up against shoes like the Speed 4 and the Endorphin Speed 4 and Boston 12 and
I don't know,
Super Blast almost.
Putting that up against Endorphin Speed 4, man.
So how does this shoe, if you put it up against those shoes, how does this roll out for you?
I mean, I'm picking the Endorphin Speed 4, I think. Yeah. For sure. But I still like it. Like, this is a good shoe.
I do like it.
It's fine to run in. It's not, it doesn't have any special sensation under the foot, but it's fun. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
And there you have it.
Anything else?
I think that's it for this week.
All right.
What do we got going on next week?
More nonsense.
Yeah.
Of course, more
nonsense. I don't think we
nonsense.
have anything like monumental or whatever. Just getting in our running stuff.
Yeah.
Running things.
We should be able to announce a couple things soon. We will be at the Cherry Blossom 10 miler a week before Boston. I don't know that we're doing any kind of shakeout run this week or this year. And then we will also be doing, Meg and I are doing the Annapolis half, and then we'll be doing the Boston Marathon. We will be doing a couple different things at Boston. So we'll keep you updated. Check out social media, but we should have some fun stuff for you.
Boston will be where it's at, as you know. Cool.
I do know.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Hi, Ma.
You good? All right. Thanks to Carl for editing this up, and thank you for listening, and we'll check in with you next week.